Okay, we got to talk about this. This is a new segment called Quick Hit News. News and views so fast you can't snooze. And this is the quick hit news today. Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood Church, Houston mega church. There was a burglary in 2014, and this past November, a plumber discovered the money that was stolen in 2014. So 7 years later, there's a plumber doing work on one of the bathrooms inside Lakewood Church, and he pulls the tile off the wall, and $600,000 falls out. Not $600,000 in cash, mind you. $200,000 in cash, about $400,000 in checks. And I just was humored by this news because this is kind of perfectly weird, right? You've got this church stolen from, but not stolen from. I guess this is a prank. This is something that they just decided to take money out of the church. Maybe it was some people who don't like Joel. I know Joel's got a lot of haters because he's kind of like the encouragement guy, the guy who refuses to go verse by verse through the Bible. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of that kind of preaching myself, but he's got a huge audience. He's got a huge draw, and he plays well in audiences, both Christian and non-Christian. But here we go. He makes news, and every time this guy makes news, it's always for something weird. Like, for instance, a couple years ago when the hurricane hit Houston and his church was closed down and people were on the street suffering, and then suddenly they had to kind of get back their PR and open up their church for people to come in and be housed and be fed and sheltered during the recovery from that hurricane. But this is another example of weird news coming out of Lakewood Church. Okay, you've got money that was pranked and hidden behind the wall in the bathroom, and the plumber of all people, like, he's the guy who discovers the money. Anyway, just kind of an interesting quick hit news item, and I was thinking about this. Here's my question to you. If you were the plumber, what would you do? Like, seriously, how many wonder if the plumber didn't just pocket a few $1,000s and then bring the rest over to the church authorities? I don't know. But who steals checks from a church? Who hides checks? Don't they realize that you can cancel the check like within 30 days? Don't they know that? How did it get in the wall? Maybe if they search their construction documents from years ago, they'll find out who was the contractor or plumber or tile guy who was working in that area. I'm sure they've got cameras or something that would expose the perpetrators of this crime. But anyway, it's kind of interesting, kind of funny. Reminds me of a verse of scripture, Psalm 84, verse 10. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. I'd rather be a plumber in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. You know why? Because if I'm a plumber in the house of God, you never know what I'm going to find.